Greetings everybody, IMakeLevels here. Welcome to my 3-minute mod review where I help you find the best of the best mods while hopefully avoiding the worst of the worst. Today we are taking a look at Abandon the Town for Half-Life 2 Episode 2 made by Comfort Jones. This mod is a little different from most Half-Life 2 mods. Sure, they're still shooting zombies and Combine, but things are just slightly off. Zombies are faster, Combine soldiers do different things like throw manhacks at you, which is all fine, but then there's other things. No quick saving, crouch is a toggle, sprint is always on, there's no battery economy between sprint, flashlight, and oxygen. Healing items don't heal you, kind of. More on that later. Personally, I feel these affect gameplay in adverse ways because we've all spent 10 years playing this game in, for the most part, the same way. One could argue that not having to worry about the battery pack and endlessly sprinting around is a good thing, until you're trying to aim between a narrow place and have to strafe back and forth multiple times to get it right, which would have taken you 2 seconds in a normal Half-Life 2 mod. Personally, I feel when you have a storied franchise like Half-Life 2 where the controls have remained largely consistent for a decade, that when you deviate from them, there should be a very good reason to do so. Enough of that. The environments are, for the most part, okay. Some pockets are nicely set-dressed, but other huge swaths of areas are kind of bare and rather boring. The flow could definitely be improved in some areas, as I got stuck multiple times searching for the right way to go. Combat feels overly difficult. Did I mention that you can't change the difficulty? Yeah, you can't change the difficulty, because who knows? To use a health pack, first you have to switch to the crowbar, then you use the right mouse button. There is also some amount of delay between switching to the crowbar before you're able to use the health pack as well. It's not really noticeable until you're in the heat of battle, but it's very noticeable then. Also, personally, I found maybe 4 small shield canisters in the entire mod, so you'll never be at top health and shields, even if you play perfectly. There's 2 main combat sequences in the mod, both involving multiple hunters. There's barely any time to adjust to all these changes that get thrown at us before we get pairs of hunters thrown at us. As far as combat spaces go to accommodate hunters, these are better than most. Large walls to break up line of sight that allows flanking opportunities for both the player and for the hunters. Plenty of cases of turning a corner and having an oh shit moment as you suddenly come face to face with a hunter. The Combine soldiers still don't utilize cover, so they often just stand out in the open and shoot at you, which is unfortunately a trend in most Half-Life 2 mods that I've played anyway. The final combat sequence is kitchen sink combat, where the difficulty is just inflated for the sake of making it more difficult. 3 hunters? Yeah, sure, why not? A dozen random Combine soldiers? No problem. I cannot legitimately make it through this final combat sequence. I've been playing games for 30 years, I'm not the best, but I'm far from the worst. If I can't make it through your mod playing on a normal difficulty, I question your balancing decisions. The difficulty and the seemingly useless changes to sprint, crouch, difficulty settings, and all that stuff made this, for me, a rather frustrating mod to play. In spite of all that, I'd still recommend giving it a shot. If for nothing else, it's something new, and it's a rather short mod. You can get through it in maybe 20 to 30 minutes, so worst case scenario, you're not sinking huge amounts of time into it.